Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're talking about the book, Jackals, the Stench of American Fascism by Constantine. This book is a deep dive into the underbelly of American power structures, and it's not for the faint of heart. Let's start with the CIA. Now, we all know the CIA has a reputation for being involved in some pretty shadowy dealings, but this book takes it to a whole new level. Constantine argues that the CIA has been exporting terrorism for decades, striking alliances with some of the most unsavory characters in global politics. One of the most shocking examples, the CIA's ties to Black September, the Palestinian paramilitary group responsible for the 1972 Munich Olympics massacre. The book reveals a wink and nod relationship between the CIA and Yasser Arafat, the leader of the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Arafat's top intelligence officers maintained regular contact with the agency, even as he publicly denounced American policies and its unconditional support for Israel. This relationship began with Ali Hassan Salameh, also known as Abu Hassan, a key operative in Black September. The CIA tried to recruit him, but he refused, insisting he wasn't an American agent. Despite this, the alliance continued, with Arafat's militants providing security for U.S. diplomats and residents in Beirut during the Lebanese Civil War. But the CIA's connections don't stop there. The book also delves into the agency's ties to Nazis post-World War II. One of the most notorious figures is Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, who was a Nazi collaborator. His granddaughter married Abu Hassan, and the ties between the Nazis and Palestinian militants were deep and enduring. The book even mentions François Genoux, a Swiss Nazi who became an advisor to Arab nationalists and had connections to PLO terrorists. Now, let's talk about the financial side of things. The book suggests that the CIA was involved in the savings and loan crisis of the 1980s, with many thrifts being systematically looted by the agency and the mafia. This isn't just conspiracy theory stuff. There are reports and investigations that point to CIA involvement in the collapse of these financial institutions. The book also discusses the subprime mortgage crisis, suggesting that it was a deliberate act, not just a result of poor judgment or incompetence. One of the most intriguing characters in this saga is Nia Laval, a wealthy Floridian who tried to expose mortgage fraud before it became endemic. His reports read like a blueprint for the foreclosure crisis, and he even managed to get a law firm to corroborate his findings. But despite his efforts, the looting continued, with figures like Fred Malek, a Nixon aide, sitting on Fannie Mae's audit committee and looking the other way. The book also explores the rise of neoconservatism and its ties to the military-industrial complex. Figures like Michael Ledeen, Elliot Cohen, and Paul Wolfowitz are discussed in detail, with Constantine arguing that their policies have led to disastrous foreign interventions and the rise of extremist groups. The media, too, comes under scrutiny, with the book suggesting that it has been complicit in promoting neoconservative agendas and war propaganda. One of the most chilling sections of the book is about the anthrax attacks of 2001. Constantine suggests that the attacks were not the work of a lone operator, but rather a part of a larger, more organized effort. He points to the involvement of figures like Stephen Hatfill and Bruce Ivins, and the connections to the U.S. Army's biological warfare program. The book also discusses the controversial anthrax vaccine and the military's use of it, suggesting that it was part of a larger experiment with potentially deadly consequences. The book doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of American power, including the use of torture and the outsourcing of intelligence operations to private contractors. It mentions the role of companies like DynCorp and the connections to human trafficking and child exploitation. The author argues that these are not isolated incidents, but rather part of a systemic problem with the way power operates in America. Finally, the book delves into the connections between American intelligence agencies and international terrorism, including the rise of groups like Al-Qaeda in the Middle East and Abu Sayyaf in Southeast Asia. Constantine suggests that these groups were not just adversaries, but at times, assets of the US government. The book also discusses the role of figures like Adnan Khashoggi and the connections to the Iran-Contra affair and the global arms trade. In conclusion, Jackals, The Stench of American Fascism, is a provocative and disturbing book that challenges us to rethink our understanding of power and politics. It's a call to question the narratives we've been fed and to dig deeper into the forces that shape our world. Whether you agree with Constantine's conclusions or not, this book is a must-read for anyone interested in the hidden history of American power. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of BrightLearn. If you enjoyed this discussion, please subscribe and share it with your friends. And remember, knowledge is power. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep shining bright. This has been a BrightLearn video from BrightLearn.ai on the book Jackals, The Stench of American Fascism by Alex Constantine. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.